Expecting a great year from Mahomes and Kelsey.
I'm expecting that level that we saw right there or better. And I just want to level set, if I may, for a moment, the year the Chiefs had. Because I think it has been misremembered a bit because it was such a truly disastrous end.
Okay.
At the exact midway point of the season, this was true. The Chiefs had just ripped off 5 straight games where they averaged more than 30 points and an average margin of victory of 17 points, including games against teams that we thought were, Baltimore, Detroit. Their demolition of Washington kind of ended Washington's hopes for the year. Yeah, in that game, the midway point, which was the game against Washington, Patrick had 330 and 3 touchdowns. Travis had 6 for 100 and a touchdown. And the very next day, Patrick was the favorite to win league MVP, and the Chiefs were the favorite to win the Super Bowl. From that moment,
what was their record at that?
5-3.
Okay.
From that moment, so they had lost their opening 2 games. They played the game against Jacksonville. They lost at the very end. They'd won everything. They'd won 5 of their last 6, with the 1 loss being the Jacksonville game. From that moment forward, everything was a disaster. And the game where Patrick blew out his knee, they were 6-7, down 3 on the fringe of field goal range against the Chargers with 2 minutes left. Patrick blew out his knee, and they're just dead from that moment forward. Mm-hmm. What has bristled me about Brew's pessimism about my beloved Chiefs?
I am pessimistic. Surprisingly.
So. Again, they're 6-7 in the game. Patrick blows out his knee. They lose that game. They're 6-8.
Yeah.
They weren't. They're down 3 past midfield, in field goal range when Patrick blew out his kney. I don't know if they would have lost.
You don't think it's fair to say they were 6-8 with Mahomes?
Well, I mean, they
were going to lose. They were outplayed most of that game.
Okay, so be it. The rest of the year, they then lost to Tennessee and Vegas, and then the game against the Broncos where. They 13-13.
Yeah, I don't even count those last.
Right, but so that's why that's where I'm getting at. So Baltimore won 8 games. I think you believe in them. Cincinnati was 3-3 with Joe Burrow. Forget their overall record, won't hold it against them. And the previous 2 years with Burrow, they were 14-13. They've been around an 8-9 win team with Burrow. The Chiefs, I think, as bad as things were at the end of the year, if Patrick doesn't get hurt, finish 8-9. I think they beat Tennessee and Vegas. Like, call me crazy. I think they do. I don't know why teams, or throw the Lions in as well, who collapsed at the end of the year, who I think you have some faith in for next year, why those teams deserve more confidence that last year was an outlier year, just a down year, than the Chiefs do. And I feel like that's how I think both of you potentially feel. And so that's that's my argument.
Well, look, it's true that I guess the first half of the season, we all were believers in the Chiefs. They looked great, right?
Yes.
They beat Baltimore, like you said. They beat Detroit.
They crushed Detroit. They crushed Baltimore.
They looked great, but it wasn't a good year for them.
No, obviously.
And I think, and I think even with Mahomes, it wasn't good. Even if you want to say 6-7 instead of 6-8, that's not good. No. Now, some of it's probably because they've been the standard, and we're judging them against their old team. But I also think a lot of people are looking at the year before when they had a great record, but so many of those games were close. Then they get into the Super Bowl and get annihilated. And then the next year they're 6-8, 6-7 with Mahomes. And Mahomes, I want nothing more than to see him back to when he was putting up these video game numbers. But we haven't seen that in 3 years. Even when they've won, he hasn't put up those numbers. And so that I am surprisingly, even to myself, a bit pessimistic about them. I think some of it, Nick, also is their division. I think the Chargers are really good. I think Denver is a good team.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm
stunned
you have more faith in the Chargers than the Chiefs.
Okay, let's talk about this. Oh, I can't wait. This is genuinely hilarious when he's talking about the winning and the points per game and how much they won by against the New York Giants and Russell Wilson. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens, who literally were collapsing. Their defense was decimated and Lamar Jackson got injured. Then you lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, by the way. And then you beat the Detroit Lions, who also had a decimated defense. You didn't crush them. I know the score was 30-17, but you had the whole crazy thing on with the touchdown, not a touchdown, all that type of stuff where literally if two plays go differently, that touchdown and a fourth down conversion completely changes that game. Like I watched that game, and again, defense line's not good all year. And then the Las Vegas Raiders 31-0. Okay. And then you ended the Washington Commanders. He's right. You were the ones who took down Marcus Mariota and the Washington Commanders. Really? Like they had high hopes of winning it all. And if it wasn't until the Chiefs beat them 28-7. What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about? Did you talk about cooking the books and Patrick Mahomes is averaging over 300 in this? It's like, oh my gosh, what do, and now we have the audacity to try to invent the scenario against the Chargers game, right? Where, oh, if it wasn't until Patrick Mahomes blew out his knee. You mean the fact that he went 16 for 28, 189 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that interception, I think, was the drive before he blew out his knee when they were actually in a position to tie the game. And yet you're so confident that they would have got in field goal range and tied the game. Patrick Mahomes literally threw an interception right there. I don't know what to tell you. He was not playing well and had a devastating interception in an absolute got-to-have-it game. And now Nick wants to talk about revisionist history and how we're for misremembering things. Now you want to say, oh, well they would have won and they would have done this and that and the third if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes getting injured. Really? That's the song and dance we're gonna do right now. Really talking about how the Chiefs ended the Washington Commander season. They lost to Chicago, they lost to Dallas, they lost to Kansas City, they lost to Seattle, they lost to Detroit, they lost to Miami, they lost to Denver, they lost to Minnesota. Like what are you talking about right now? That's what ended though. That's what ended their season. That's what ended their season. Okay. I'm sorry, man. It's just too funny because in that stretch that Nick was emphasizing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those teams they beat, no, they were not playoff teams. I don't care what people thought about the Ravens or the Lions. They're not playoff teams and they weren't playing well. It's one thing if they were playing great and they're blah blah blah. It's like the Colts situation earlier on in the season, they were playing great but then they didn't make the playoffs. It's like, well, at that time they were playing great. At time they were playing. That wasn't the story with the Ravens or the Lions. It's not. Let's not get that. Let's not get that twist. Let's not talk about the fact that both teams were decimated on defense with injuries. I guess we won't talk about that. But then again, you think the books don't get cooked when you beat a team 31-0 at 28-7 in terms of when you're looking at the averages of this 5-game win streak. You don't think that affects that? Especially when because you say we won by this big of a margin. What about against the Jags then? What about against the Bills? What about against the Broncos? Funny how, the point differential changes a little bit. I mean, the Ravens against the Kansas City Chiefs in that stretch, they've made them 1-3. They lost to the Bills. Obviously. Congrats. They beat the Browns. They lost to the Lions. They lost to the Texans. They lost to the Rams. Again, it's like, what are we doing here? And then Nick goes on, and I'm going to turn this into a separate video where he's like, I'm surprised you have faith in the Chargers because the Chargers had a decimated O-line, the worst O-line in the NFL, and their quarterback still played better than Patrick Mahomes, and they actually made the playoffs, and they won 11 games. And now this year, it's expected that their O-line will actually be good and actually be healthy, and they got an awesome offensive coordinator. So, it's not hard to imagine that there's going to be some confidence there. Just a thought. I don't know. You have faith that things are going to be different for the Chiefs because their O-line's going to be better and you got Eric Bieniemy and you think things will be different and you like what I fake that if Mahomes played the blah 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 they would have won 8 games just like the Bengals and the Ravens. The Bengals and the Ravens did that. Had those wins and their quarterback missed games. Their quarterback missed games. And again, I have faith in the Kansas City Chiefs. People are going to take this whole video as like evidence is like, see, you always doubt in the Chiefs. And it's like, no, I'm not. I just like to tell the truth. I like to actually live in reality. The Kansas City Chiefs were bad last year. That's not revisionist history. And that was someone who defended them every single week when they were winless or when they were 1-3 or whatever the heck the record was. I was like, I still think they're a playoff team. After they lost to the Jags, I said, I have more belief in the Chiefs than I do the Jags. Like again, those takes were wrong. I was wrong about the Chiefs because I actually thought highly of the Chiefs. I defended them. I defended Patrick Mahomes. But it doesn't change the reality of the season as a whole. They were bad. Patrick Mahomes was not good in the moments when he had protection and his receivers were there. Like he was not good. He made bad decisions, bad throws that had nothing to do with his receivers, nothing to do with his offensive line, nothing to do with the play calling. He was not good enough. That is just a fact. I'm not saying if he was better that they would have won or if you had Josh Allen or anyone else that they would have won and made the pumps. That's not what I'm saying. That's not at all what I'm saying. But stop pretending like this was just a random fart in the wind because it wasn't. And it has been the trend for the Chiefs in 23, 24, 25 with that offense with Mahomes. Yeah, they were able to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, they won the Super League the year before and they were not playing good. They just weren't. And they know it. They've admitted it. Patrick Mahomes himself has admitted it. He's admitted it. This is not sustainable. We can't keep winning games like this. We have to find a better way. He's been saying that since 2023. Those are his words. His words because he's not dumb. He understands football. He knows. He knows, man, we're winning some games and getting away with this stuff and it's not enough. Because you know what? Andy Reid is not allowing it either. Andy Reid's like, guys, this isn't good enough. Yeah, we won this game. If you think this is the way how we're going to be able to keep winning, you're in for a rude awakening. And boy, did they get a rude awakening. So, this is what the trend has been. And they know it. They're not dumb. So, we can twist the conversation, cook the books all we want, but if you think the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid felt that they were MVPs and Super Bowl front-runners after blowing out the Las Vegas Raiders and the Washington Commanders, you're confused. You're confused. Okay, you're significantly confused. They know it. Patrick Mahomes knows it. Andy Reid knows it. Kelsey knows it. What did they do? Against the Buffalo Bills? What did the Denver Broncos do against the Buffalo Bills? What did you do against the Houston Texans? C.J. Stroud was cooking that game. What the New England Patriots do to C.J. Stroud? What did Justin Herbert do with a terrible O-line? What did Patrick Mahomes do with a terrible O-line? You can fight the reality all you want. Doesn't invalidate it. Doesn't make it incorrect. And honestly, the most hilarious example of that is looking at that 5-game win, those 5 wins. I mean, come on, man. Marcus Marion and the Commanders, Geno Smith and the Raiders, Russell Wilson. That was that ended Russell Wilson's career essentially. Russell Wilson and the Giants. Come on, man. And Nick, this is where it's really funny and I'll end here because Nick was like, well, they beat teams that we at the time we thought were playoff teams like the Ravens and the Lions, buddy. You didn't think they were playoff teams. You didn't think the Lions were any good. You didn't think the Ravens were any good. Now you want to elevate them after you beat them. And in fact, when the Jags beat you, nobody thought the Jags were that good. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the revisionist history? In which direction? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.